All right, so I'm going to show you how to use Bias Amp within Logic Pro. This is going to be a tutorial on how to pull it up in any digital audio workstation and then go ahead and use it to its maximum potential in order to make yourself some good music. So open up your DAW. Mine's Logic. I'm going to hit New. It's going to pull up a selector, which for me, I hit 3 audio tracks. Input 1, because that's where my mic's plugged in. Outputs 1 and 2. You can output to any output you have, at least as many as you have on your interface, or no output at all. And then you're going to be able to go in there and create. So I selected output 1 and 2, and then I created, and then it created 3 audio tracks for me. And I went up to the first audio track, and my mic was plugged into it, and so it's already recording there. I turned up the gain, as you can tell, and there I have some levels. I'm talking into the microphone. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you, that's how you input monitor so you can hear it through. And then we hit record, and I'm recording audio through a microphone. Hello, 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 as you can see. And then so we'll stop that, and then we're going to go over to the audio 2. And now this is going to be a different audio track. It's set through input 1 right now. And so we're going to go ahead and pull up the bias amp. We'll go under audio effects. There's an EQ you can set up, no plugins, and then there's all these options. And now if you don't have Logic, ours is in audio units, but what you're going to look for is the effects, and then you're going to find Positive Grid, because that is who makes Bias Amp, and if you have it downloaded, Positive Grid is going to be in your digital audio workstation. Then you find Bias Amp, and then you can open it mono or stereo. It's up to you. I always open it mono just for... And then it's going to pull up. It takes a second sometimes. And here is Bias Amp, and I just turned it to input number 2, excuse me, so that the microphone wouldn't play through. And then you can always pick. So right up there is going to how you select a new amp, and then there's all kinds of options. This is a Yngwie Malmsteen amp that I got from the Tone Cloud. There's glassy, blues, crunch, high gain, metal, insane, acoustic, and bass. I use metal a lot. As you can tell, I downloaded quite a few. But they have a lot of presets in here. Doomsayer is the one that we're going to use. It's called Ivan Test to start with. This was made by Chris Norris back when Bias Amp came out as a teaser module, so he could show you how to use it. Chris Norris is the guitarist for Darkest Hour. He's one of my favorites. So as you can tell, you have all of your plate information from your first page, and then you can go to the preamp, and there's a lot of different things you can do in the preamp. You can pick 3 different kinds of tubes. These are the tallest tubes. These are going to provide the most gain, and so that's going to be good for metal. And then there's tube stages. Now 5 is going to be the tube. It's going to be working its hardest, and it's going to have a lot of gain. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1's going to have no gain at all. And so you're going to have to choose which stage is best for you for the kind of music you're making. Here's your distortion knob. It always starts out a little high on this one, so I'd like to turn it down. Here's your low cut frequency, which I have up very high because I don't want my lows cut in metal music. And then my high cut frequency set very high because I wanted to cut out a high end, but not all of my highs. And so here is the low shelf, which you can set to post-produce out your lows, which, as you can tell on the other side, we actually have them really, really low. And that's so I can get a bigger, crunchier sound. Here's an EQ that rarely used in pre-production before it's set through the cab. Here's your tone stack. This is going to be a very important part of getting a good metal sound, because on this tread plate one, it's going to be, like it says right there, massively heavy chords. Cranks your amp's gain, and you are able to just play out chords as if they were one single note. Then you got your power amp, which is just another version, more tubes, more distortion, more gain. This one is less powerful than the preamp, actually, even though despite the name, because it's gonna it's going to allow you to choose whether or not you want your amp to be in a solid state and play as is, push pull, and then, you know, split the load or single ended. So you're going to be able to use your amp how you want to use it as if it were a real amp. And then your transformer, another very important tool, you're going to change your transformer to fat style nearly every time for almost any kind of music except for clean music. Because that American style is for chord playing, and so is the British style. And so this fat style is going to be good for sort of faster playing and better playing. You got your attack, release, compression, ratio, input, output. You can set these however you need. Compression is going to be very important post-production. You're not going to want to overuse that knob right now. Here is your cab. You can set where you want to put your mic. Default, there are 2 mic selections. This is the 57, and then you got the C414. I've never actually used one of those, even though I get kind of, you know, it's a Cartoid mic. And then you can choose how many speakers you want. You can change your cloth and your plate, and then you can move that around. And, you know, we're gonna go down to 2 speakers, the Black Duo, and that's just because. And then you have an EQ, which is actually set. Chris Norris set this. It's a little low because his guitar has a lot better pickups than mine, and so he's able to pick up a lower sound. But I'm not going to be able to do it that way, so I'm going to have to bring it down. And then there's your amp match, which is very important. You can always use your amp match to take a recorded sound from a different amp and then sample it, and it will customize that sound from that amp for you, which is very important. And then you're able to go in once you're done customizing your amp. This one's called Ivan Test. We're going to call it Doomsayer Test Amp. And then I'm going to put it in the metal section. Okay. And now it's saved. And so we'll go here. I'm going to change it a monster. And then we'll go down to metal. And there it is on the bottom. Doomsayer Test. And it's right there. Every parameter I just set and the original one are still good. This does not save over the original one unless you want it to. You will have to absolutely go in and say save over this, or it won't get rid of your amp, which is great. As soon as you save it, here is the overt controls over everything. It's just, you know, your basic gain, your basic everything, where it's going to start. And so you hit that button up top left, and it brings you to the tone cloud. We're going to be able to find new tones that other people and professionals have made. See, look at all these professionals. There's all kinds of guys here. Ryan Bruce, Mark Holcomb, they're good guitarists. And then so you can look at popular amps. Mark Holcomb made this. It's called a Haunted S'mores. I don't actually have it. It's probably awesome. You know, a lot of people use that orange cab. It's really clean. It has a lot of gain on it, but I'm not exactly a fan. Latest, random guy who likes to make these. Category, you can choose. It's odd. They were already all in the metal category, so. And then you can search for whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and search for Megadeth. And yeah, I'm going to grab this Rust in Peace amp, even though they have these other 2. But this Rust in Peace one's really nice. Grab that. As you can see, I already have it liked. You can preview it if you want. You can download it. I'm just going to download it for the sake. Matched from Holy Wars. Put it in custom. Go ahead. Okay. That's how you download. It's that easy as long as you're plugged in the internet. Go back home. And here you are. We're on Doomsayer Test Amp. We're going to go down into custom, and there it is. I already had it, but you know. And then Megadeth Rust in Peace, 1990. That said Holy Wars. That's odd. Whatever. It sounds like Rust in Peace. And then, as you can tell, it was already matched from the Rust in Peace. Here's your EQ. Here's your cab. Here's your transformer. Fat style, of course. American tread plate, of course, from metal. And there you are. And so you're able to go in, and then you record enable, and start recording. Even though I actually just hit it on that track because I wasn't recording it. But nonetheless, I'll just play it over for the rest. Thank you all for watching. That's how you use Bias Amp. If you have any more questions, just go ahead and ask.